Hello everybody, this is Moletrap, and coming at you with a game from the U.S. National Finals. And this is a game between Machined and Artosis. And this is actually not one of the official matches of the tournament. This is just a practice game that Artosis was playing to warm up. I forget who he was going to be playing, but he was warming up for one of his matches, and Machine was like, "Sure, I'll warm up." I think Machine might have been warming up too, actually, because they were in the same group, so they were probably going to have games at about the same time. Um, anyway, but yeah, I'm not actually going to be doing. I don't remember if I mentioned I've got Diggity alongside here. Even though I'm going to be doing most of the rambling, I'm not going to be doing like a real commentary. Actually, the game is mostly just kind of a fun backdrop. It is going to be fun though. This was a really cool game. And there's a special surprise at the end of the game that will be fun to watch. So make sure you will keep an eye out for that. But it's mostly going to be almost like a blog, just talking about all the people that we met at the tournament in LA at the Los Angeles Convention Center and at the hotel and everything, and just kind of experiences that we had that were cool, and probably some whinging and complaining as well about some of the things that weren't as cool. And that sort of thing. So hopefully there'll be some fun stories though, and hopefully you'll learn a little bit about, I don't know, stuff in general, maybe about the tournaments and all that. So we're gonna give. I have been saying that I was hoping to try and remember everyone's name, but this is actually the third time I've been trying to record this because I've been having some technical difficulties. So hopefully I'll be able to easily remember everyone's name, although I am bad with names. But first of all, I did want to give some shout outs though to fuck now I'm forgetting the names, of course, now that I'm doing it a third time. Thomas, that's what it was. Thomas and Rebuilt. Was it Rebuild or Rebuilt? I thought it was Rebuild.
Rebuilt.
Okay, Rebuilt. Um, they were actually people that came out to the convention, and got in there just because we were at the convention, and that was like, wow, that was awesome. I mean, that was like, I think one of them was like, "It's an honor to meet you," and we're like, "Dude, it's an honor to meet you." Like, and I turned to Diggity, and I'm like, "Wow," and he's like, "Yeah, I don't even really feel famous." I'm like, "Yeah, me neither." I mean, it's not something we've ever really been like felt like was deserving of people being in awe of us or anything like that. But sometimes people are like, "OMG, it's Moletrap and Diggity," and we're like, "What? Okay, sure." So, anyways, but shout out to them. That was really cool that they came out to see us. It was really fun actually meeting like a couple of our fans on there. And you said who were the other guys that you were talking about? I missed.
Tiberius and Miss Lord.
Okay, yeah, Tiberius. He was he
They're
was
guys
there.
that I've t
He was there for something else though. I thought maybe not.
uh no, I think he was pretty much there for the StarCraft games. That's where he hung out basically the entire time when I saw him.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, there I've talked to both of them on IRC. Speaking of which, sc2gg.com/chat. I hang out there. Tiberius and Miss Lord do, of course. It's really nice meeting them. We also had Adam, who's a guy who doesn't even have a screen name. He's just been watching the videos and
Oh
just
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
came across it. He's a PhD at UCLA, actually, really smart guy. It was really fun just hanging out with him, really, as well. I actually had a couple other people. Well, David Dunn. I don't want to forget David Dunn. He's with Gamer. I keep adding an R. GameReplays.org, and he was just really incredible the entire time. I had fun conversations with him. Also, David Freak, quote unquote. Can't remember David's last name off the top of my head, but he's Warcraft 3caster. And yeah, he was really fun to hang out with. Of course, Rain Man, who's in the back, and Dirty J and Aussie, of course, because they were doing a lot of the sound stuff with Esports TV, and it was fun hanging out with them. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anybody as
Yeah, I was
far as.
gonna.
Also, I think
I was
Adam
gonna.
had some friends out there, Joe, Joel, just some other people, Casey. I don't want to forget them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
Those
go
other
ahead.
random guys that they were hanging out with. Yeah, I was gonna mention Dave. He was really cool. He was always he was very nice. He was like, whenever we like had some random problem, he was like, "Oh, like we're like, oh, we don't have these headphones." He's like, "Oh, you guys can borrow my headphones." And we're like, "Well, we needed this, but that was cool." And then like one time I was talking about how I was gonna go out and to visit a friend of mine, and he thought I was gonna pick him up and bring them to the convention. He's like, "Oh, I'm heading out that way. Like, I'll pick him up for you." So it was cool that he was just trying to help us out in general, and so he was a really cool guy. Um, and again, I'm sorry if I'm like forgetting anyone. There was just so many names. I met like seriously like literally 30 or 40 new people that day or that weekend, and some of them I never even met before. So uh, yeah, so sorry if I'm forgetting anyone. Just let me know. I'll give you a shout out in like in my next video or something like that. It was just cool to see everyone in general.
Yeah, just message us and we'll make sure you get like a special shout out in one of these games here.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have been. It was really the esports TV people. They mostly had their stuff together. Um, but one of the things we were going to talk about, if you've watched the games on WCGLive.com, and then I think you go to the section that says um, U.S. National Finals or whatever. There's actually a couple games up there right now, and if you're listening to this later on, there might even be more games up there. But the games that we did live on stage, um, we had the issue, and this is why Dave was offering the thing about his headphones, is we actually couldn't really talk about the game because the players could hear us. So the first game we did was In Control versus Idra, or Idra, or Idra. I'm still not sure how to pronounce his name. Um,
Idra.
is it
I
Idra?
asked him actually, it was Idra officially,
Oh, there we go.
but he just doesn't care.
Fair enough. Yeah, Idra could not hear us, or no, Idra could hear us, and In Control though could not. So In Control was like, we could talk about what Idra was saying, but we couldn't talk about what Idra was saying because I mean, sorry, the other way around. We couldn't say what In Control was doing because we might give it away to Idra basically. So it made it really ridiculously difficult to do that cast because it was like, oh look, it's something that we can't tell you is on the screen right now. So you're gonna have to figure it out for yourself. And hopefully there just wasn't anyone there that didn't know StarCraft, didn't know what was going on. Um, because it was really tough. And then the second game that we did was, I'm not going to say who it was actually because Cholera wanted me not to spoil the games for him. So I won't. Oh, I need to keep it down. Sorry, my dad just came in and told me that. Okay, I'm going to keep my voice down from now on. Sorry. My dad just came in and said that we've been trying to get this recording going for like a couple days now, and now a few hours. So my dad's fun. I tried to do it earlier when my dad wasn't asleep. But anyway, point being, I'm not going to say who was in the losers bracket finals because in case Cholera watches this, I guess it'll be actually. You know what? I'm just gonna have to say Cholera. You're gonna have to watch this video later because there's no way that I cannot talk about the games and spoil some things in this if I'm going to be talking about the tournament. So sorry, Cholera. Turn it off. You'll have to listen to it later. Anyway, G5 was facing Louder in the losers bracket final. So there's kind of, it was double elimination. So if you got eliminated from the bracket, you went to the losers bracket to lose your second game or continue on. And so in that one, both of the players could hear us. So we couldn't talk about anything in the game at all. It was absolutely ridiculous. And we're sitting here going like, well, this would be the point in the game where one player might do this and they might do that, and we just had to be like, oh, take note of what's going on the screen. Hopefully you know what's going on, which sucked because we actually did have a lot of people at that part that we had a pretty decent crowd by the end of the match that weren't there just for the StarCraft, so we were trying to explain the stuff to them, but we couldn't explain everything, so it kind of sucked. But anyway.
Yeah, I really wish we could have been a little bit more explanatory and a lot of stuff, but the capabilities didn't allow it, which is really frustrating because I know that I talked to we had a conference prior to that. I said one of the things I brought up was, will there be soundproofing? And I was like, yeah, I'm sure they'll have soundproofing. I mean, I don't remember who did the official running of all the tournament. I think it was ESA or someone like that. I'm sure, they're running it and they're professional and they'll have it taken care of, and sure enough, it wasn't taken care of.
Yeah.
Not that I blame them, because honestly, like, I was surprised by the level of separation between the different groups the main stage group, the tournament runners, everyone, they were just all so separate. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it was ESEA or something like that. Yeah, they. I mean, everything was okay in the actual like tournament area, but they were completely disconnected from the main stage people. So, you know, obviously they weren't thinking about soundproofing in the tournament area because they didn't really need to. But the main stage had, no soundproofing at all. Uh, Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I also felt like the main purpose of a lot of the main stage stuff was more to give things away, is to draw a crowd and then give them merchandise rather than really anything else, in my opinion, which I can understand from their perspective, but at the same time, it made it difficult to kind of give out quality, commentating and provide a kind of an entertaining game environment,
Yeah,
in my opinion, really.
yeah, they were all about the free
Um,
stuff. Although to be fair,
yeah, they were
the
really about the free stuff.
the kids at the convention really loved their free stuff. So,
Yeah, they were freaking out.
they,
Like,
they'd be like, "Who wants free stuff?" And like everyone would rush the stage. Well, they actually told them to rush the stage, but yeah, and then they give out relatively crappy stuff. But whatever.
I don't know. I thought they gave out some pretty cool stuff actually.
Uh,
I mean, we didn't have Xboxes, so it didn't really matter to
that's
us. It was
true.
mostly
That's true.
Xbox stuff. But memory cards, controllers, some other things. I think they had some free games and things at one point. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, I thought it was cool merchandise and free stuff they were giving out. But at the same time, yeah, it was kind of like, it just seemed like a lot of it was to wind up to attract a crowd specifically for that, rather than, we've got a cool cast here, and by the way, this is kind of bonus. It was kind of, reverse focus sort of thing.
Yeah, they
But,
were. I mean,
oh well.
the guy that was in charge of the main stage, he was about sponsors, and so he wanted to get the sponsor crap out to the people and talk about the sponsors and stuff. I guess. I don't
Yeah,
know.
which is, understandable, but at the same time.
Yeah. So this game is
One
actually. Oh, go ahead. I was gonna
thing we
say.
did get to prove is there was very much a mentality, I guess, because of our casts and things, that RTS just isn't popular, and that's one thing I am. Go ahead. I was very happy that we actually did prove that RTS can attract a crowd. For the last game, we had the seats packed out, so
Yeah, that was
especially
sweet.
comparatively to a couple of the other games there. Guitar Hero is very popular, obviously, because it's it's very much a spectacle game, I think. Someone commented that after you've seen someone beat Dragon Force once, then it really doesn't get all that much better after that. But I don't know. I still think it's kind of fun to watch, especially if you've played. But at the same time, I can see where people with bad casting wouldn't be interested in RTS in the past, which is what someone else had mentioned. Is like the casters were so
Yeah.
bad. Basically, the people who proceeded tasteless, they just had never played the game and they didn't understand the game, so the casts were bad. So no one wanted to stick around and listen. And I don't know who that was or when that happened, but I mean, if that's the case, I can understand that also not being, them getting the impression that RTS just doesn't motivate crowds. But, at the same time, he must not know about Korea, the millions of people that watch it. So, I don't know. I feel like we made a point, and hopefully that'll carry in to even if we're not there next year, that it'll at least carry over the point that yes, RTS can attract a very large crowd.
Yeah. Luckily, before the last cast that we did on the stage, Peanut and Sonic Reaver took the big sign. They had a sign that said StarCraft on it, which they used for the opening ceremonies. They took that big sign and went running around telling people the Lucy Dragon finals, or go watch the StarCraft game. There's about to be some awesome StarCraft. And so the match started off without much of a crowd at all, and then by the end of the match, there was just a huge crowd there, and that was really really cool to have so many people there. The part of if you watch my cast, part of what I was trying to do actually was try and hype up StarCraft in general. So you can see that. Now, something to note: the replay is actually going quicker than I thought. I thought the game was longer, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the players that I wanted to before the game ends. But at this point in time, I was actually watching this game over Artosis's shoulder while this game was happening. And right about the time that this attack happened in the bottom right, it may be a little bit later, everyone, see here, command center going down, everyone started saying to Artosis, "Go nukes, go nukes, go nukes, go nukes." I think Nooney was there and a couple other people. I think I'm not sure who else was behind it, probably Zeros, but everyone was telling him, "Go nukes!" And so he actually like took his headphones off and like looked behind us, and he was like, "Go nukes!" And we're like, "Yeah, go nukes." So as you can see, covert ops going down, extra commands that are going down. He actually, that's the surprise that I was working towards, is Artosis is actually going nukes right now. So we're gonna see some fun action from that. But yeah, I wanted to talk about the players though, and shit, I'm probably talking too loud again. I'll have to quiet down again. Get a little bit too excited by those nukes. Um, I was really impressed. I was really impressed the whole time by how, just basically how nice of a group of guys it was. I mean, like, there was just a lot of nice guys at, and oh, and Machine didn't see it coming. I didn't realize there's a nuke silo going up right here while his lings are attacking, and he didn't even see it. I don't think Machine noticed. Anyway, but yeah, all the guys were just really, really cool, and I was a little bit worried going into it, but they were just a really, really nice group of guys. I was really impressed. And, you know, to be fair, you know, I've heard some of them, I've heard people talking about some of them. I'm not going to say anyone in particular. I don't want to defame anyone in this. I'm just saying, point being, you know, this is my impression, so, you know, take it with a grain of salt, I guess. But in general, I had a really, really good impression. I mean, I can only make my judgments based off of my experiences. So, yeah, but they were really, really cool. There was a few of them I didn't really get to hang out with a lot, so I can't really say too much about. I think I maybe said like 3 words with Idra the whole time. He was not really too available, so I didn't get a chance to talk to him too much. Wow, Machine just consumed his own defiler on accident. Um, but it's okay. He's got him to spare right now, I think. Um, anyway, I guess that defiler wasn't a good one. He needed another one. I've done stuff like that before. That
It's a
was
spoiled defiler.
spoiled defiler. It was defiled. But yeah. In particular, though, I was hanging out a lot with Louder. And he was, because I didn't really know him that much beforehand. I talked to him in IRC just like once or twice beforehand. He was a really, really cool guy, really nice guy in general, very laid back and everything. So it was cool to hang out with him. And also Future. Future is hilarious. He is a really, really cool guy too. I remember this funny thing. Um, we were standing around watching Artosis play or something like that. Maybe
6
G5.
o'clock, by the way.
Oh yeah.
You can see the ghosts getting.
Yeah. Here we go.
There we go.
We were watching someone
Actually,
play.
I do want to say, yeah, I thought G5, it was just really fun hanging out with him.
Oh yeah, I was gonna get to him.
I talked to him prior. And I'm trying to... Also, Noonie, I know he has... People have given Noonie kind of a bad reputation. He was one of the most civil people I've ever met, honestly.
I was gonna get to them.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm sorry. But... and one more thing, because this is Machine in game, Nuke's falling in the meantime. The one last thing I do want to mention before I get it out, I have never seen someone play with so much passion. Basically almost anything. Machine played, like, other players played, and they played very well, and they played very seriously, but Machine, you could see the passion on his face, and I just want to say that in all his games, he was very impassioned about the game, and I really thought that made watching his games even that much more fun.
Just preempting the heck out of everything here, man. No,
yeah, I know. See,
that's totally true. That is something...
Steal the glory.
Okay, let me tell that story about Future real quick. We were watching some game,
okay.
and one of the Warcraft 3 players like came up and like tapped him on the shoulder and said, "You're in my chair," and he was like all snotty about it, and we're like, a few of us like look at the guy and we're like, "What? Are you serious?" And so like the guy gets his chair back. The Future was sitting in his chair. That's why I mentioned it. And the guy gets his chair back, and you know, he goes and sits down or whatever, and Future's like, "I guess he's good at that game." It was hilarious. It was just, no, don't get me wrong, I guess that might sound like Future was being a dick, but it wasn't Future, it was the other guy was being really pompous, and Future's like, you know, he said something about, like, "I don't get why people have attitudes," and stuff like that, so, yeah. As you can see, by the way, by going for nukes, he gave up a lot of momentum, and Artosis is now getting completely overrun, but that's beside the point. But yeah, Future was a cool
It
guy
was
too. It was really, really, really awesome to meet Artosis. He was such a nice guy. So awesome. He was just, totally just, hanging out with us and everything. I think he was probably, yeah, he was very, very open to just, talking to whoever happened to be there or whatever. But yeah,
I was
Machine.
very yeah. Artosis was not
Okay,
what
yeah.
I was expecting. Artosis was just really fantastic across the board. It was just really fun just sitting down, listening to him, and talking with him. Just yeah, he was just great.
I guess maybe it was a tiny bit of fanboys, and maybe I expected like, oh, Artosis is
Yeah,
this big name, and so he's not gonna want to talk to us. But he was just totally into like talking to, hanging out with us and everything. Um, Crap, this is the game's gonna finish. We
we
might
can
have
talk
to.
past the
We
we
could
can
talk
talk
past it,
past
I
it.
guess. Yeah. Maybe we'll start up another replay. Um, anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, yeah. Machine, like you said, very very cool guy. He was pretty nice too. I didn't talk to him a lot, but he seemed like a really cool guy to me. In general, he was really nice, and he seemed very laid back. He was modest too. I thought that was kind of cool. Like, I'd be like, man, that was a great game, and he'd be like, oh yeah. So that was cool. But everyone at the tournament, I think, agreed that Machine was basically. Oh, I hear a nuke. Where is it going? Oh, there it is. 6 o'clock.
6.
Um, Basically agreed that he was like the most improved player in the United States as far as the last year is, and you could tell, man. You could totally tell all the nuke lands. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh man. But yeah, you could totally tell he was a really, really great player. He made it in the top four, but I don't think even that shows like how well he was playing. He was just playing ridiculously well, and I mean, obviously not, top level well because he didn't, he made it to top four, but not beyond that. I mean, it was just huge. I mean, I remember hearing about him like last year, and he had kind of reputation as a mediocre player, and it was clear that he was not a mediocre player in this tournament. I was just really impressed by him, his playing style and stuff like that in general. So I didn't get to watch a lot of some of the other players, so I'm sure they were obviously pretty good too. I mean, obviously, Nooney, Jesus Christ, um, ridiculously good player. Wow. I mean, this guy is I am really proud that he's going to be representing us in Germany at the World Cyber Games because he
Yeah, likewise.
is really really on top of his stuff. I mean, he is just dedicated as heck. Um, yeah. So, I mean,
When everybody else was going out and getting lunch and stuff, he was in there practicing, and he says, oh, I take a long time to warm up. But even like the night before, everybody else was kind of partying and hanging out, and he was going to bed early to get some rest, and probably looking over replays. Lauder was like that too, actually. Friday night into Saturday night, Lauder was up looking at replays from the day before, basically, and he was trying to
yeah,
figure stuff out, and he was working through everything. So
it paid off for him too. I'm really proud of him that he got as far as he did. I mean, because I think most of the people at the tournament kind of counted him out from the beginning, and he showed them. But yeah,
yeah, definitely.
I wanted to go back. You mentioned G5. Do you want to? Are we going to start up another replay, or you want to just
Yeah, let's
ramble?
start up another replay and
Because
continue talking for a
right
minute.
now I have the exit replay screen up. So